just found the knockout of the night, ladies and gentlemen.
This is his kid's first pro debut.
He's just buckled.
He's just taking every shot. He's not dodging. He's not blocking.
Drops him again.
He's seeing stars, baby. Fight's over. Abel, future champ.
As they continue.
Oh, it stopped. It stopped. Abel with the win.
Beautiful to see them work because they apply that hard, genuine, authentic work, and you can see it within the media, within everything they post, and then you see the results of their work in the ring. We got some amazing people. We got some amazing guests. We're blessed and honored to have Abel and Andrew Mejia, man. Let's get it.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome, guys.
Appreciate you guys stopping by the studio, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, before we introduce Abel, again, we're gonna got a couple questions for Andrew here. So, but again, if you know me, if you've ever been around me, you always hear me say, it all starts from the top. Any good sports team, any great business, it's got a great coach, got a great leader at the top. Even some of the mentors I ever, they hear you say, don't follow the money, follow good management. You know what I'm saying? So,
shout out to that.
Before we get to Abel, let's see who's behind this great gentleman, who's this great leader behind this guy. Okay, Andrew, I got a couple questions. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up?
Oh, what's up, fellas? Thank you.
What's up, man?
My name's Drew, born and raised in Almudena.
Okay.
I've been a part of boxing for about, I'd say, 12 to 13 years. We started at TKO Boxing Club, Santa Ana.
Nice.
Recently, we kind of branched off by ourselves. Okay. And I've been coaching my son for about a year now.
Okay, nice. You grew up where you said Almudena, that's Orange County, of course. Your parents are from there. You're Latino, Mexicano?
Yeah.
Nice. How did you get into sports?
Well, me, I've always been involved in sports. My mom's had me involved. Like ever since I was young.
Right.
I just love sports.
Awesome. Growing up, man, who were did you have any mentors? Anybody did you look up to?
I didn't really have any mentors. The person that I look up to now even is my mom.
Okay.
Very, very strong-willed, strong woman. She raised a man by herself. So.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Moms don't get a lot of credit,
Exactly.
So
No, they
make
don't.
sure you guys, Mother's Day is coming up, so make sure you guys take care of your mamas. Next question, man. How did it become about you? You became Abel's coach.
You know what? After we left TKO, he approached me. Like he asked me. Well, actually, I asked him. I was like, "Hey, dude. So now that we left TKO, like, what's your plans? Like, what do you want to do?" And at first, he didn't really know what he wanted to do. He was kind of like lost in his thoughts a little bit.
Right.
So I took a step back and I just let him think what he wanted to do. And then one day he approached me. He goes, "Hey, Dad," he goes, "you have experience in boxing." He goes, "Why don't you train me?" And then when he came up to me with that, I was kind of like, man, I don't know, like, right. I do have experience, coaching experience.
Right.
Like I said, I've been a part of boxing for 13 years. I've been in corners, I've cornered fighters myself.
Right.
But when it's your own son, it's a little bit harder,
Yeah.
Because there's more emotions involved.
Right.
So at first I was like, I don't know, Abel.
Yeah. I think you said they even advise you not to. Like.
Exactly. Especially nowadays, because now there's this whole thing about father-son coaching. It shouldn't belong in the sport. And which to some point, I kind of do agree with it. But right now, what me and Abel have, it works,
Right. Awesome,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
Well, again, man, it looks like Abel here has got a gray head on his shoulders since he came from his podcast. The first time he came, he did an amazing job. So, as a father, man, how has it been? And what would you say to any young fathers growing up? What kind of advice would you give them?
You know what? Like, my advice to any dad out there is just bond with your kids, spending time with them and bonding with them is completely different,
Yeah.
Bonding with them, like, especially sons, you know, like you want to go out there, you know, you want to go fishing, you want to do anything that's gonna spark their interest.
Yeah.
You know,
I see.
And you know, and spend time with them and bond with them. You know, especially nowadays, because you know, like they all have friends, they all have bad
Influences.
there you go.
Yeah,
You know?
iPads, the
Exactly.
internet,
Yeah.
Google.
Exactly.
You're right, because again, like you're right, like hanging out and spending time is different. Because again, you could just be there watching a movie. You're literally just
Definitely.
there hanging out. You're
Definitely.
not really interacting or getting to know your son or you
Yeah.
know that person. So and it's different. Yeah, you're fishing there, talking.
Exactly.
You know, a walk. You guys are communicating. You know
Teaching
that
a
kind of
trade,
stuff.
you know,
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
I
You're
mean,
right. That's
anything.
awesome advice, man.
But you know what though? Also too, like spending time with Abel, spending time with my other son, my other kids.
Yeah.
It's also saved me, you know, because it's kept me out of trouble of my own, you know.
Right,
You know,
right. It's good.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
maybe we're on board sometimes, and I'll call friends. We'll hang out and drink when I don't need to be drinking.
Yeah, yeah.
You
No,
know what I mean?
that's
So
true,
like,
absolutely.
so I mean, so it's not only keeping him safe off the streets, it's keeping me in line as well.
Hey, shout out to
Awesome,
that.
awesome.
That's amazing. How are you able to balance being his trainer but also be his dad? How do you find that balance?
You know what? Every day I'm still learning. I mean, I learn every day, especially being his trainer and dad. You know, I mean, especially the day of the fights. I mean, I really got to keep my emotions in check. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard because I'm worked up. You know, I'm focused on the fight. I'm focused on him. I'm focused on myself. You know, like I have to make sure that I did everything that I needed to do to make sure that my son was ready to step in that ring.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, I mean, it's stressful, but you know,
But you work it. You
Yeah.
work through it. You work through the
Exactly.
emotion.
exactly.
Is it difficult to turn it off, especially at home when you're with wifey or with your other family members? Is it difficult to turn that off?
Definitely.
Because your main focus is all right. Next fight,
Exactly.
film, boom, train, boom, boom, boom,
Definitely.
boom.
You know, especially after sparring, you know, especially after a bad day of sparring, turning it off, you know, because you know, as fighters, they're already, you know, like mad at themselves because they had a bad day,
Yeah.
and then you know, so I'm over there in his ear. What's wrong with you? Why did you do this? Why did you do that?
Focus.
So I'm learning every day to learn how to turn it off when I need to, you know.
There we go.
Yeah.
Shout out to that. Talk about some good memories you've had on this run. You know, 4-0, 3 KOs, all first round knockouts. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Talk about some good memories you may have that you remember or recall.
Seriously, every time we step in the ring, and like I'm standing right next to my son, like when they call his name, that right there is something that I can't explain. Like seeing our fans out and you know our fans out in the crowd holding signs and everything, you know, chanting his name,
Yeah.
you know, hearing my last name being called,
Yeah.
that right there in itself is just a gift. You know
That's
what I'm
so
saying?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you ever think you would be at this point?
never.
That's dope.
Yeah, that is dope. That is dope.
You know what? And like what we've accomplished so far is nothing. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, we have a long way to go.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can't wait to see that, man.
Sky's the limit, man.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, Abel, the last time you were here, you were barely beginning your professional career, and now you're 4-0, 3 first-round KOs, and 1 decision. Talk to us about your journey since that moment.
Since the last time I've been here,
Yeah.
I feel like I've matured a lot more, and like in the boxing realm, it's almost like night and day from being in the amateurs to the pros. It's like it's honestly the coolest thing because now you get the no headgear, the smaller gloves, you know, the cameras in your face, and it's just a whole different world.
Yeah.
And it's like super cool to be a part of it, and especially when you perform how you're supposed to perform, and you just hear everybody yelling, and you know everybody's going crazy. It's the coolest feeling, especially because you know you work so hard to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing.
Nice.
It's probably like a blur at times, right?
Yeah, especially
like it's
during
like-
the fight. Yeah,
Definitely.
it's weird because I get so locked in. Sometimes I don't see or hear the crowd, but I can hear my dad and my other coaches giving me instructions, and that's it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it feels like you're in a dark room and the light just over you.
Really?
Yeah,
Imagine.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
That is crazy. You know, 360 promotions. That night you were noticed. You had a KO of the night and instantly impressed the fans and promoters. Talk to us about how this opportunity happened and what motions did you go through before signing?
So we got the opportunity because of the connections that me and my dad have made going through the amateurs, you know, meeting people, and pretty much the connections are what got us that opportunity. And then so me and my dad, we worked hard night and day, just getting ready to show out that night from the opportunity, and we got the first round knockout in spectacular fashion, and then from there it just kind of the ball kept rolling. 360 Promotions was interested in us. Then we worked out a deal. We got signed to them, and ever since then it's just been been going great.
Did you know prior to the fight that they were going to be there and there was a possible opportunity?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, because it was on one of their cards. Yeah, so they're like, okay, we're gonna give you this slot, and just like let's see what you can do. Here's your pretty much audition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Nice, man.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
How about you, Drew, as a dad? Like, how do you come up with the decision to sign with 360? Do you overlook the contract? Do you give him advice before signing? How did that kind of go about?
You know what, really, to be completely, like we didn't really, it's not we didn't have a choice, but Abel didn't have a spectacular amateur background. He only had about 60 fights, right? And so most kids have about 150, 160 fights, and they're national champions, multinational champions. So when that happens, like the bigger names will want to sign you, like the Golden Boys, the top ranks. Right, so because he didn't have that background, like it was one of those things where when 360 came, we were like, wow, this is big as well, because 360 is also a big name,
Yeah.
So when they wanted us to sign with them, it was like a blessing. It's like almost like, wow, is this happening?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
And the coolest thing about that is it didn't feel forced. It kind of like fell into our lap. Like,
Exactly.
It's all
it was
genuine.
meant to be.
Yeah.
Did you think of like, wait a minute? Well, what if now we're worth some money? What if we want to hold off and sign with somebody else? Not really.
So
Did that ever cross your mind?
We were, so that was always on our mind.
Right.
But it's crazy because like how they say God works in mysterious ways.
For sure.
And like it just felt so like natural for everything kind of happened on
Nice,
its own.
yeah,
And,
absolutely.
it
It's
felt
got to feel good too. It's got to feel on both ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? And that's very true. It happened organically. Very organically, where it was almost effortless.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
No, I'm saying it's weird. And like now till this day, I'm just kind of like, wow, we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell.
This is it.
That's dope as
Take
hell.
advantage of it. Absolutely.
Success has no roadmap, and what I mean by this is the success journey we chase daily has no guide to it. Yeah. Along the journey, we are going to endure some losses, wins, new experiences, and new journeys that we possibly won't know how to maneuver through. How have you guys been able to manage the tension, the new waves, and the success you guys been having?
You know what? Staying humble at all times. Always stay humble. Because this boxing ride, it's not a race; it's a marathon. And so like we just gotta pace ourselves, and then every fight, and then take it fight by fight.
Yeah.
Patience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about you, Abel? What you think?
And for me, it's like we train hard for whoever's in front of us. That's why I always tell my dad, whoever they put in front of me, my job is to go in there and beat him. That's that's a job, and and that's why we train so hard, because we know that all this can change overnight with one punch.
Yeah.
Especially in boxing. And boxing is a humbling sport. Boxing can humble you quick.
Even if you do win the fight, you probably still humbled because you didn't win it in the fashion that you wanted or you thought you were going to win it, right? This guy just put an ass whipping on you.
Well, actually, Abel's third fight, we fought a guy. His record wasn't all that, but he had a lot of experience. And he had everything, in my opinion, that was kind of built against us. He had the experience, he had the age, he had reach, he had height. He was a southpaw, which makes things a lot harder,
Is this the one that went to decision?
Yeah, that one. Okay. Even though he won, but that fight taught us more than anything we've gone through so far. You know what I mean? Like knowing that we can't knock everybody out in the first round.
Right.
Pace yourself. It taught us so much. It taught him as a fighter, and it taught me as a coach.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you
taught me a lot of patience.
Nice. Do you happen to remember the scorecard on that?
Yeah, I think I won every round but the second round, because I remember I took the second round off. I was like, kid, let me see what this guy's gonna do. Let me see kind of, does he drop his hand when he does this, or
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
That's crazy that all that detail is going through your mind.
Yeah, and at such a fast pace.
Yeah, it's fast paced. That's crazy.
You know what? And I think in boxing, to to be the best at this sport, you got to pay attention to that. I mean, detail is very important, especially when you're watching tape.
Yeah.
Breaking down tape. I mean, detail. You just got to pay attention to it.
Do you rewind, forward, rewind?
I
I'm
pause.
going to watch this
Exactly.
first round like
Motion,
20
everything.
times.
Yeah, I'll pause it. I'll rewind it. I'll pause it because like I said in the past, we're creatures of habit. You know? So pretty much like what we see on tape is what pretty much what we're gonna see in the ring.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like my son, I tell him all the time, I want to know our opponent more than he knows himself. You know?
It's crazy because it reminds me of when I used to break down football film.
Yeah.
You know, as a coach and even as a player. And if I'm not mistaken, Ed Reed said, again, he would study the line and he would know where the play was going off the way the lineman's foot was, like the direction it was facing. If it was a run, for some reason the lineman's foot would just be straight.
Yeah.
If it was a pass, he would have it like curved to the right a little bit or something. Just something like crazy like that. That's how, minute it is, breaking it
definitely.
down.
And boxing, but you can pick up on the slightest things that like a boxer will do. I mean, he'll pump his hand before he throws a jab, or he'll twitch. There's just something that you can always tell that he's gonna do before he throws a certain punch.
Yeah.
And that right there, as a coach, you have to lock in on.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why they call it the game of inches. 'Cause every little thing it's sometimes it's a habit that you don't know that you're doing, but will cost you the fight.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
And
That's
you know what? And
incredible.
after his sparring, but I always go up to the people that he spars with, and I'll ask him, hey, how did Abel do? What did he do right? What did he do wrong? And then they always tell me, you know what? Abel's good. Abel's good. He's just a little too tight. He's a little too tight when he spars. Just tell him to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
So, it's like we're always looking to improve. Always.
And I like that. And I get that energy from you guys, that you guys accept the constructive criticism.
Definitely.
And you welcome it.
you got it,
know what I
man.
mean?
Yeah.
All
Got
the
to,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Nice. So far, what's been y'all's favorite fight?
His favorite fight was his first one. I mean, my favorite fight was his first fight.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect him to stop his opponent in that fashion. I thought, because like again, I watched tape with this kid, and this kid was durable, he was strong, and you know what? And they came to upset.
Yeah.
us, because
really?
his crowd was vocal, They came to win that fight.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so when he stopped him in that fashion, I was like, wow.
You're like, that's my dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we witnessed that. We witnessed that.
Yeah, we were there.
I would have to say it's probably the first fight too, especially because it was like a new world for me, and especially seeing all the people there. And then that was my first fight, fighting with no headgear, fighting with 8-ounce gloves, and then so I'm not fighting kids no more. I'm fighting grown men.
Yeah.
And so and then this guy, before he fought me, he was undefeated. He hadn't lost, so I was expecting a tough fight. I was expecting a war. So we really made sure that we were ready, and that night it definitely showed.
Yeah.
Nice.
How'd you celebrate at the end?
I ate.
That's so cool.
That's fucking badass. Has been dealing with distractions, media, even women. Has all that come to play in this early in your career?
Women, no, because I have the discipline in myself to kind of know when the time, there's a time and a place for that. And right now it's just my whole focus, my 100% focus is all in my career.
Nice.
Because I know all that will come later on.
Beautiful.
But right now I just have to get my stuff in order as a man, and my career comes first.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Yeah, listen to that advice, young men out there.
No, you know
It's
what?
great
You know
advice.
it's true about that. And Abel, and like I'm not saying it because he's my son, but Abel is a good kid. Like Abel was never or is never the type of kid to party first or women first. Like especially when he's in camp, he's very. I mean, he's locked in, and he's not asking to go out. He's not staying out late. He's at home. Relaxing. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that part I do give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I respect that, man.
Beautiful.
I was the kid the opposite. I was in the streets. I was
No,
out.
they don't teach us any better. Get your career straight, ready first. You get that shit ready, and all the ladies and all the money is gonna come. Just get your career straight. You know, get that shit.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's one of my
Build that
biggest
foundation.
That's one of my biggest regrets
Yeah.
is starting so late to get my career lifted off. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
dude, get that out the way. Be 22, 23 years old with a bachelor's, master's, or whatever you're trying to focus on. And get that out the way, man.
Yeah.
Get a house by 26, 27.
Absolutely.
Oh!
We don't know any better. Some people don't have the mentors. They don't teach it in school. They don't. They just don't. So just
And
have
you know
good
what?
people
in
around
boxing,
you.
there's a saying. Sorry for cutting you off.
Go for it.
In boxing, there's a saying: women weaken knees. You know.
Oh.
And so right now
heard
at
that
this
one.
point of his career, like that's kind of like okay, you know, like we don't need a girl in your life right now. If it comes, it comes. But nah, let's stay away from it. For now.
Absolutely.
For it.
Yeah, you know.
It's kind of like when these guys get the big contract. They take a step back and then they're not the same anymore. It's crazy.
No, that's the time to keep on working.
That's why right now I feel is the time in my career where I have to prove that I belong at the top and I don't need no distractions. You know, that's gonna be taking my focus away from what I need to be doing.
Absolutely.
When you do eventually get there, how do you think you'll maintain that focus?
I think honestly, especially now because I've learned from seeing how other fighters are or how other people have done it and just kind of learning from their mistakes. And I think you just have to learn how to separate it, how to, you know, when you're at home, you know, with your significant other, okay, that's where your mind and you're at. But when you're at the gym and you're working out, that's where your mind and everything needs to be at, you know.
Man, that's crazy.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah, till the time comes, you know, you're kind of done, and I'm ready to move on, and just, you know,
And seriously,
do other things, you know.
Yeah.
in boxing, the way I see it, like we haven't accomplished anything.
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
for sure.
Like I tell Abel all the time, like we can celebrate and we can sit back and say, okay, now we did it when he has a belt, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once he has a belt, then we can start, and then he can start enjoying life a little bit, you know. Until we get that belt,
A few other bonuses here and there.
exactly.
Yeah,
We're on a mission.
Yeah, we're on a
for
mission.
sure, for sure. Absolutely.
Can you gentlemen educate us on what happens behind the scenes when it comes to like fight negotiations and things like that?
You know, everything is pretty much done, you know, by, you know, it's done behind the scenes, but it's pretty easy right now, you know, because, you know, like we trust the people in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
your management.
and, you know, so exactly.
Yeah, because you hear all these war stories and like horror stories about negotiations about this person wanted this person this.
Nah,
and then they start putting these rules and obligations and things like that. It's just like, bro, just fight.
Yeah, you know what? At this point, we don't deal with that. Like that's more like at a higher, like, you know, like if you're gonna fight for a belt,
Yeah.
that's where
And that
all
all
that
that.
weirdness comes in.
Yeah.
That's when like the hydration clause comes in. Right now, it's
Oh,
just
boy.
you just gotta fight it at a certain weight, you know, this date, you know, and just be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you balance? How do you maintain that weight? Do you check your weight every day? And
Yeah,
if you're
I try not to, so my main thing is I'm always working out because I don't like to get super big and blow up because then I gotta kill myself to cut back down to that weight.
wow, that's
Yeah,
smart.
because I know that some fighters get really, really big and they have to, you know, completely drain themselves to make weight. And to me, I think that's horrible.
Yeah.
Definitely. And plus me, as his father, you know, he doesn't have the best genes.
Right.
You know, so I tell him like, hey, dude, like take it easy.
Take
you
it
know?
easy, man.
Because your genes aren't the best.
Yeah,
you know?
that one donut just swell you up.
Yeah, and then especially now because so my body's still transitioning from a boy to a man. So I'm getting my man strength, my man body's still kicking in.
Yeah.
So I don't want to, you know, blow up just to where my body gets real big and I can't cut back down to my fight weight.
Yeah. What do they say? So what's the peak in boxing? You know, 25 to 28.
24 to 26 should be your like prime years.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dang, and you're hitting this hard and you haven't even developed like the man strength yet? Boy.
Let's go.
You're going to be
Absolutely,
cracking
absolutely.
people. Talk to us about sparring with different individuals you've sparred with in the past. I know one of them was Ronnie Rios. Talk
Yes.
about the sparring.
So the sparring, it's honestly the coolest thing, sparring with some world champions like Baron Rodriguez, you know, the guy that just signed a 360, Carlos Balderas. He was a 2016 Olympian, and just a lot of the big names in the world, you know, Joshua Franco. It's cool seeing that type of experience because it's almost like it's like a teacher kind of teaching you, you know, like when they're in there with you.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world versus kind of fighting a guy that doesn't have that type of experience.
Yeah.
And it's almost, it's just a whole learning experience because you see things that you've never seen before.
So you could feel their ring presence, their power, their speed.
Yeah, the mentality is different. It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
Maybe a move you haven't seen or something they did, right?
The footwork.
The pace itself is very different because they're more like them. Like, you know, when you spar guys like that, like volume isn't important to them. It's craft and technique. You know.
Yeah.
And so they're just like sparring guys like that is a very slow pace instead of volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I was
Yeah,
always
and
interested in
everything
that.
is very accurate, and it's like being in there with a sharpshooter. Like,
Yeah.
if you make one mistake, they're gonna make you
They're gonna
pay
make
for
you
it.
pay.
Definitely.
And do you tell them ahead of time, like, this is what I want to work on, just FYI, or you just kind of just freestyling in there?
Yeah,
Just going
yeah.
with it.
Okay.
And like it's cool because they'll let you know every little thing that you're doing wrong. Like, yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah. They'll be like, don't drop your hand.
Yeah.
Don't drop your hand.
yeah.
Ah,
And
okay.
they'll hit you, and like they'll keep emphasizing.
But
that
that's
punch.
not everybody. That's not everybody that you spar with like that.
No.
That teaches you
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, there's some that are
Right.
There's some that are just wars. Like,
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? They're just trying to take your
Yeah,
head off and
yeah.
embarrass
Yeah,
you.
because you're
Yeah.
competition too, kind of
Yes.
technically, sort of, right?
and some people take it personal, where like they want to keep going until someone's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some days it's a war, some days it's a chess match. You just got to be ready for whatever.
Oh,
And is it 12 rounds, 5-minute rounds, or?
So for his fights now, his fights are four rounders. So in the beginning of camp, we'll start off with 4 rounds, and then we'll move up to 6 rounds, and then at the very end of his camp, or like kind of end of his camp, we'll do an 8-rounder or 2,
Yeah.
and then we'll go back down to
Okay.
4 rounds.
Nice, man. That's awesome, man. You know, as a fighter, what would you say your biggest asset is, and what differentiates you from every other fighter in the fight game?
I feel like my mindset, but my boxing IQ is because like going back to the sparring is I sparred with a lot of big names, and I've kind of picked up on a lot of little traits from everybody's arsenal and just kind of added it to mine. And especially at this stage of my career, I feel like that's probably what's helped me the most to help me get to where I am today.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What about in your opinion? What differentiates him from every fighter, Drew?
You know what? Okay, first his skill. I mean, he has the tools. You know, but you know what I like about Abel is his attention. Like, he pays attention when he makes mistakes, and like he'll point out his own mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, you know, this today in sparring I was doing this. You know, I have to fix that. And then like the next day you see him in the ring and he's working on what he was. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, it's hard to explain. Like, you have to actually see it.
So, like, as a trainer's point of view, you're like, dang, he cares.
Exactly. No,
So
definitely.
I
He
need
does
to
care.
acknowledge this and help him out with this,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You as a person, as an individual, you have to get better, as yourself, right? You want to get better. Like, I gotta make a mistake, you gotta be able to want to change it. You know what I
In
mean?
boxing, you always gotta learn. You know, like, never stop learning. You know what I mean? Like, once you do,
absolutely.
it's over for you. you know?
Yeah. So, like in this fight last night, what do you think the mistakes were that Canelo's opponent made?
Wow. Well, a lot. I mean, he was coming. He was coming in with his head. He fought the wrong fight. You know, in the beginning, the first 3 rounds, he fought a good fight. He fought him from the outside, but then slowly but surely, he started closing the distance and he started fighting him on the inside. And then that's where he got dropped in the 4th round.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially because he was shooting and his head was coming over his front foot. That's when he got countered with the uppercut.
Yeah.
He's off
Started
balance.
shooting.
Wow. And you can't make those mistakes against
Yeah.
Canelo. So
No, especially at that, right? I mean, that's elite level. I mean, you got to come with your A game.
yeah,
You know.
that's crazy, man. Well, lastly, guys, what's in the works in the future, and what can we expect from the Mejia camp?
So for the rest of this year, hopefully we get 3 to 4 more fights. You know, 360 is keeping us busy, and we love that. So hopefully just keep him busy, you know, and just keep growing with every fight. Just, you know, hopefully the name keeps growing, but you know, eventually we do want the belt.
Yeah.
But we had to work our way up there, and right now this is the progress to getting to that belt.
Yeah. Nice.
And his next fight is gonna be July 26th
Okay.
at Commerce Casino.
Nice, man. Woo! When do tickets go on sale?
Tickets should go on sale probably like about a month before the actual date.
Nice. Nice. Hell yeah.
July
I gotta be
26th.
there. We gotta be there for that one. I'm gonna lock that in the calendar.
Definitely.
Make sure I have that day off.
Appreciate that. We appreciate
Yeah, for
it.
sure, man.
what,
Hell
seriously,
yeah.
And we appreciate everybody that supports there in person, supports on Instagram. I mean, everything is much appreciated.
Everybody watching at home,
Absolutely.
everything's super appreciated.
Especially in this sport, because in this sport, it's a very lonely sport, So when we're in the ring and we hear people chanting his name and we see our signs and we see the shirts, I mean, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, I bet,
nice,
man. That's
nice.
freaking fire, man. Hell yeah. Well, we got some fun questions for you, Drew.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
to loosen up the mood, Jimmy's got something for you. Let me cue the music here.
So, all right, a couple questions, man. Just answer as you wish.
All right.
All right. If you came with a warning label, what would it state?
Don't feed after 9.
Awesome. Are you a tacos or burritos guy?
Tacos.
Tacos.
Ooh, can't go wrong.
Here in Riverside, what's the go-to spot around here?
You know what? Here, I haven't found a good spot around here.
No.
Ooh, what about the spot you go to?
There's I definitely like tacos. Is Mariscos del Rey? Yeah, tacos y mariscos down 6th Street. Those guys are good.
Are they? Okay.
La Birria Chivito too is really good right down 6th Street.
Yeah, okay.
Those guys are bomb right there.
I have to check that out.
Absolutely. All right. Next question. If a dog were chasing you, what pair of shoes would you be wearing?
Oh, man. Jordans?
Yeah, see, you got a nice shoe game over there. Look at those. Beautiful. All right, man. How about Julio Cesar Chavez or Oscar de la Hoya?
All day.
Absolutely. All right, if you had an opportunity to have a message on a billboard, what would it state?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Take your time.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Take your time.
Message on a billboard.
Going down the 91, billboard pops up. What do you want it to say?
Live life to the fullest.
Ooh,
Nice, I
like it.
like it. Are you a Apple or an Android guy? Android guy.
Apple all the
That's a big question around here.
way. Blue screen.
Thank you, man.
Oh man. Do you, as a coach, do you have any like pre-fight superstitions? Before the fight.
Yeah, actually, I do. Like we like to keep everything the same
Okay.
as the last fight.
Right. For sure.
Okay.
Don't change anything up.
Absolutely. All right. Give me your top 5 greatest boxers of all time in your eyes.
Maybe of all time,
Yeah.
well, Tyson. We got Oscar. Julio Cesar Chavez. See who else? Pacquiao
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Nice.
and Crawford.
Ooh,
Nice,
I like
nice.
it.
All right. How about give me your greatest boxing upset of all time?
Boxing upset. Wow. Man, some good questions here. Catch me
I
off
think I
guard.
said me was probably like Tyson when he lost against
Buster
Oh,
Douglas?
Buster Douglas. Yeah, you know what? I would say that's probably
Right,
yeah.
that's a big
Yeah.
You know which one I like that nobody mentions is the Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that
that was
one's
a
pretty
badass
Oh, you
fight.
know what though? I mean, knowing Andy Reese's background and the way he fights, that wasn't really.
You
an
didn't
upset.
think it was upset?
No, I mean,
Really?
he has skills. He
Yeah.
does have skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome, man. Well, last question here. I am Coach Mejia, and I am.
Always willing to learn.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that.
Beautiful. I like that one.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That was real
Man.
nice.
I love how humble you guys are. I love how hardworking you guys are. I love following the journey online. I love being at the fights. You could see the support. You could see how happy people are, how genuine people are there to see you and support you. And that's only going to grow and get massive as you continue to fight and put some wins under your belt.
Yeah.
And again, congratulations to all your success.
Thank you.
We appreciate you guys coming to the show. Please utilize our platform whenever you want. It's your platform as well, because I know eventually you guys are going to, grow and be in the big leagues and have HBO and all these people interviewing you. So if you want to practice, feel free to come here. And we're honored that you guys were here
guys
today,
having
man.
us.
We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
that
you,
so
guys.
much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any final words? Y'all want to shout out?
Yeah. I have a
Social
list here.
medias, whatever. Shout out people. Talk about them. This is your floor.
Yeah. So so of course me, like I have me, but then I have my assistant, or he's not my assistant coach, but he's my other coach. Chewy, you know, I mean, he helps me out. I mean, he's been there. I mean, through thick and thin.
Yeah.
You know, Brad,
Our manager,
yeah.
coolest guy.
That's badass to have a cool manager. Like that.
Our cut man Mike. You know,
shout out to that.
I mean, you know, like to me, in my opinion, like he's the best cut man.
Yeah.
He was Jaime Munguia's cut man for this last fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Super cool.
And then so you know, 360 staff, Tom, Mike, Chuck,
Nice.
all them. You know, Albert, Lena. You know, they're the ones who take pictures of us or them. You know what I mean? So,
nice.
yeah,
Favorite photographers.
yeah,
Nice.
photographers.
Yeah, they got some good angles.
The ones that make you look good. Huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, all of our sponsors.
Nice, man.
Sponsors are the ones that always make it happen for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Very underrated. but
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
Talk
very
about
important.
sponsorship, because what does it take? What do you have to do? What do they gain? What do you guys gain? Like, I try to break that down.
You know what? Like sponsors come in and like help us with like our day-to-day like training expenses, you know,
Okay.
training, traveling, you know, his boxing outfits.
recovery.
Yeah, you know, exactly, you know, his boxing shoes, just, you know, sparring gear. If, you know, sparring gear goes bad, if gloves rip or whatever, you know, it's
Yeah.
just all that goes back into him.
I see.
It's not money that we're just spending, you
Buying
know,
rims
exactly.
and fucking-
No. I mean, everything is going back into the actual sport.
Yeah. Awesome, man. That's badass, man. How about you? Want to shout out anybody, Abel?
No, really just you know, everybody that supports me. You know, like for me, it's the coolest thing in the world. You know, seeing everybody supporting me, whether it's on social media, being there at my fights. You know, reposting some of my stories. For me, that's the coolest thing in the world, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
So dope,
Nice,
so
man.
dope.
That's dope, man. Give out your social media so people can follow you.
Mine is Drew_Mejia_.
Nice. How
And
about you,
mine
Abel?
is Abel_Mejia on
Nice.
Instagram.
Nice,
I don't have
man.
Facebook. I don't have.
Twitter
Yeah, I don't
or
have Twitter,
fucking
Instagram.
TikTok or
I have TikTok.
man.
but
Okay.
I think it's the same thing on there.
I have Facebook, but I don't use it as much.
I know Facebook's
Yeah.
already played
Dying
out.
out, dying out.
Outdated.
Yeah, I actually need to go on there and freaking pull my pictures and videos off of it, you know,
Yeah.
before it like leaves. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody will find it. Oh yeah, you mean to cut, bring it back?
Yeah, well, no, just so I can have those because I have some amazing memories on
That's
Facebook.
right,
you know
that's
what I mean?
right.
So, any final words, Jimmy?
Just, again, guys, thanks for coming on the show. Again, it's been awesome following you guys. Again, we were there at fight number 1, so it's just been amazing. We've been boxing fans and sports fans since day one. I remember going to my uncle's house to watch Chavez with my dad. You know, it's just been amazing being a fan of boxing. So, you guys are doing some amazing things, and thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Absolutely, man.
All love, man. Follow Fight for the Mic podcast. We appreciate you guys. All love. Peace.
sir. We
84
out.
and raps.